Attention! A Russian fighter jet made an extremely dangerous maneuver close to an American plane. It was recently reported that a Russian fighter jet carried out a very risky maneuver near an American fighter plane. Let's take a look at this news because, honestly, I was surprised when I saw it. We'll also discuss what this type of action means, how risky it is, and if it could lead to a serious conflict between the United States and Russia. A Su-35, an incredible Russian-made, formerly Soviet aircraft, was the star of the video recorded from an F-16. The Su-35 was escorting a Russian Tu-95 bomber off the coast of Alaska when it made an unsafe maneuver towards the American F-16. These kinds of risky maneuvers are common among Russian planes, and we'll explore why this happens. On September 23, 2024, just a few days ago, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, detected and tracked 4 Russian military aircraft operating within the Alaska Air Defense Identification Zone. NORAD is the organization responsible for sending fighter jets to investigate civilian aircraft that lose connection with their transponders. The Alaska Air Defense Identification Zone is an area surrounding Alaska where aircraft are required to be identified. This is done because the United States and Russia are very close to each other. As you can see on Google Earth, the distance between the United States, Alaska, and Russia is minimal, and Canada is also in the mix. Therefore, there's a zone where Canada and the United States ask aircraft to identify themselves to know their intentions, and in case something seems threatening, fighter jets are sent to intercept them. The Russian aircraft, 2 Tu-95 bombers and 2 Su-35 fighters, were flying in international airspace and did not enter the sovereign airspace of the United States or Canada. It's important to clarify this because sometimes it can be misinterpreted in the news. Although Russian activity in this area is common and not considered a threat, this latest interaction involved a Russian Su-35 making a dangerous maneuver that was recorded from the cockpit of an American F-16 that was launched to intercept and escort the Russian aircraft. This implies that even though the Russians often enter this airspace, generally, nothing serious happens. The Americans simply send planes to assess the situation. However, this time, the news has gained relevance because of how close the Russian fighter jet got during its maneuver. It is truly shocking. Here we have the official statement published by NORAD on Twitter confirming the event from September 23rd. The Tu-95 bomber is a large aircraft, and the Su-35 appears in the recording, flying. The video shows the Su-35 maneuvering abruptly, which is incredibly risky. How close the Russian plane got implies that the pilot had 2 options. Either he has perfect control of his aircraft, or he's acting recklessly. This risky maneuver could have ended badly for both pilots, both the one in the F-16 and the one in the Su-35. Despite the risk, it's interesting to be able to see these types of situations in real life. Generally, these maneuvers are practiced with Allied aircraft, but here we're seeing how they behave in a tense moment. It's worth mentioning that Russian aircraft are known for performing aggressive maneuvers, and there are many videos that show this behavior. It's not just the Russians, but the Chinese as well. You can't determine who's the good guy or the bad guy in these situations. Of course, if NATO approaches Russian or Chinese airspace, that's also a cause for concern. As for risky maneuvers, there's a video where a Chinese fighter jet gets too close to a Canadian plane, which makes the occupants nervous. The pilot mentions that the aircraft is dangerously close, but it's not considered an immediate threat. There's also a shocking video of a Russian fighter jet approaching an American B-52 bomber when it was near Russian territory. In this case, it's logical for the Russians to intercept the B-52. This is not about defending one side or the other, but about observing the type of maneuvers they perform. In another incident, a Russian fighter jet approached a US drone over the Black Sea, attempting to interfere with its surveillance mission. In one attempt, the fighter jet dumped fuel on the drone, which resulted in its loss. It's an interesting and dangerous phenomenon to see how military aircraft interact in tense situations. The possibility of something going wrong is always there, and if a fighter jet collides with another, the consequences could be serious, changing interception procedures in the future. In the year 2024, we are witnessing fascinating changes in the geopolitical landscape. We have detected a 17% variation in the matrix since our last analysis. Russia boasts one of the most impressive air forces on the planet. Its fleet of cutting-edge fighter jets, strategic bombers, and reconnaissance aircraft gives it a notable presence in international airspace. Pause 2S. The constant modernization of its air force and the development of new technologies guarantee that Russia will remain a dominant power in military aviation for the foreseeable future. Pause at 3S. The impact of this air force transcends Russian borders, extending to the skies of other countries where interceptions and complex aerial maneuvers become a strategic game of power. Pause 2s. Russia's ability to project its air power on a global scale is a constant reminder of the need to be prepared and vigilant in matters of international air defense. Pause 3s. As we observe these events, it is clear that military aviation will continue to be a crucial area of global competition and cooperation. Pause 2s. Staying informed and prepared is essential for all nations that aspire to protect their airspace and safeguard the security of their borders. Pause 3s. In this chapter, we'll delve into how Vladimir Putin's policies and actions have shaped the relationship between Russia and the United States. Over the years, there have been numerous key events that have significantly impacted global geopolitics. Pause 2s. From diplomatic negotiations to military confrontations, Putin's strategic maneuvers have often been at the center of international attention. The annexation of Crimea in 2014, for example, marked a turning point that strained relations with the West and led to a series of economic sanctions against Russia. Pause 3s. Furthermore, allegations of cyber interference in US elections have further complicated the dynamic between these two powerful nations. These events have not only influenced political decisions, but have also shaped public opinion and international alliances. Pause 3s. Despite these challenges, there have been moments of cooperation, particularly in areas such as arms control and the fight against terrorism. Pause 2s. Understanding the complexities of this relationship requires a deep dive into the historical context and the changing strategies employed by both sides. Pause 3s. Join us as we analyze these crucial moments and their far-reaching consequences. Pause 2s. Stay tuned to gain a comprehensive understanding of how the interaction between Russia and the United States continues to shape the world stage. Pause 3s. Thank you for your attention. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell to get more detailed analysis and updates. See you next time.